Are you there?
Hello.
Hear you.
All right, I can hear you. Hang on one second. Let's. Everybody, okay. Hi, Joe.
What's up? How
All
you guys
right,
doing?
guys. This is Joe. Joe is the president and CEO of Purple Martin Conservation Association. And let's see. Your research has taken you from Canada to Brazil, huh? So we have a
Yeah,
lot to talk about. He's done
I
Amazon
get to go on some
expeditions.
trips.
Yeah, Amazon expeditions. He's done, he's done banding of these birds, research on these birds. He was a zookeeper, so we have a bunch to talk about today. But yeah, Joe, you can talk a little bit about Purple Martin Conservation. Tell them what it is. Tell them what you do.
Yeah, so we are a organization that's been around for about 30 years, um, dedicated completely to the conservation of a single species of swallow called the purple martin. It's the largest species of swallow in North America, and they have some very unique conservation challenges. So that's what keeps us going. And lucky for us, they have a really dedicated following of people out there who put up housing for them. And, you know, they support us and we do what we can to keep these birds around.
That's awesome. Also, chat loves your shirt. By the
Thanks.
way,
They can't see the bottom, but it's bird related.
let's make them birds. Yeah, they're birds now. That's awesome. Okay, great. Everybody say hi, Joe Smile, please, in the
Yeah,
chat. Everybody be very, very nice today. Yeah, they like your shirt. That's funny. Um,
cool beans.
so I guess I did not know what a purple martin was. I didn't before I found your channel on Twitch.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think how did I find your channel? Did I?
I think you found it through a Discord or something,
That's
maybe.
right. Yeah, I'm in an animal Discord. Everybody's saying hi, by the way. I don't know if you're looking at chat. Um,
I see it. I'm
okay,
trying
great.
to keep track of both here, so I don't know how
No
you guys
worries.
do it.
Oh yeah, it can be pretty fast. I think yeah. So I found your Twitch channel through that animal Discord where there's animal and education and science channels in there. And I was
Yeah,
scrolling through and I found you guys. That's Command PMCA in chat, guys. If you want to check out their channel, and then I think there's information for your website in your panels also from your
awesome,
channel. So
awesome.
there's that.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to get that Discord from you because I want to see who else is out there on Twitch doing stuff like this.
Yeah, totally. It's so cool that. How did you guys get into Twitch? Were you a
You
part
know
of
what?
that or?
Yeah. So that was me. For the
Cool.
last 4 years, we've done a kind of live stream of a nest outside of our office here. YouTube nest cams are, super popular. So we were trying to, um, kind of capitalize on that and extend our outreach. Um, and this year, I just decided, you know what, I use Twitch. My kids use Twitch. It's a younger audience. That's what we're trying to reach as an organization. And, why don't I just multicast it to Twitch as well as YouTube and see what happens? We don't do anything on Twitch yet, but just we threw this stream up just to see, if people would pay attention because I didn't really know how much traffic that science and technology section got. So
Yeah.
just was kind of waiting to see what happens, and then luckily you stumbled across us, and here we are. And I'm
Cool.
excited
Yeah.
for when you reached out, and I looked and looked you up and see
Oh,
what you've
jeez.
done for you know conservation and bird just education out there. It's really exciting what you're doing with the platform.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I think we talked about this on our first call. I'm definitely in an interesting niche on Twitch. In that a lot like 70% of my content now is the just chatting, just like hanging out. And then
Yeah,
then I have this podcast also. But I this is what's important to me is conservation education and stuff like that. So yeah.
yeah. No, I'm super excited. It's something that folks do a lot with Twitch, and the traffic that it gets is incredible. And to have people kind of exploring what else you can do with it other than, do just, IRL walking around streams or certainly, gaming streams, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. So your channel, or on Twitch, you guys just do the live nesting cams, right?
So far, yeah, but that was just wanting to see what happens. But
Yeah.
now that I see there's kind of an audience, we'll certainly probably do some other streams. We've got every now and then when I'm in Brazil, there's cell signals, so maybe I'll try and do a live stream from down there or something.
That would be so cool. Trem, thank you so much for $4. He said smile. So that was
awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
That. I heard you guys had your first nest hatch on Wednesday. Is that correct?
No, we Wednesday was when the birds were old enough on the nest cam to fledge.
Oh,
so
fledgling.
They were 26 days old on Wednesday or Thursday.
That's awesome.
So right now we're all, folks are just kind of waiting to see those moments where they take the plunge and just make that leap of faith out of the nest to see if they can fly. So yeah, this year
a couple people are asking what's a fledge. I'm not sure if they're
sorry. Fledging is when a bird flies for the first time. So right now they've just been in their nest growing for I think today's 27 days. So that's all they've known. Now that they're big enough, they're sticking their heads out of the nest to look out, but they've never flown yet. They've just kind of flapped their wings and stretched their wings in the nest. So to fledge is to give it a shot to fly out and see if they can do it.
Yeah. And how did they do? Did you see that
they haven't yet. Yeah, they're still they're keeping us waiting. So,
okay, so we're
sometime this weekend. Yeah.
Cool.
I've got them. The other computer here at my desk is the streaming computer, so I've got them up here. They're just kind of hanging out, still getting fed.
Is your Twitch channel live right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait,
yep. It's good.
Let me check it out. Thank you so much, Anonymous, at $10 and said birds, I guess.
Thank you.
Appreciate
that. It is.
Here, wait, let's look at guys, this is their camp.
Yeah.
How
the
cool
nest is
that?
really grossed right now. It's got 7 nestlings in it. And it's really, really rare to have that many eggs laid, number one, but to have that many make it to this age is really rare. It's been a really good year here locally with the insect population that they eat. So it's just more than the parents can keep up with right now as far as keeping that nest clean. So it's just disgusting.
Yeah, I know how that goes with birds. Because I
exactly.
Bird poop every day, actually.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about? So that nest here. Let me pull that up again. I don't know what my chat knows about. About purple martin husbandry. I certainly didn't know anything about it until I found out this nest in the corner chat. It looks like a gourd. It looks like
an alien pod weird thing, right?
Yeah. Can you want to talk about that a little bit? What's that about?
Yeah. So they purple martins are what's called a secondary cavity nester, which means they like to nest in holes and things, but they don't make the holes themselves. So they typically would have used woodpecker holes in trees and holes in like rocks and stuff. But due to some circumstances that I'll talk about in a minute, we have them nesting and stuff like this. This is it's an artificial gourd, is what it's called, and it's basically just plastic.
So it is like a gourd.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a fake gourd. Traditionally people would have used natural gourds, which you can still use them, but after a while they rot because they're organic. So,
Okay.
a lot of folks use these plastic ones,
Uh-huh.
and so that's what this is in. And these are colonial nesters, so they like to nest with lots of other birds. You can't really see it on the cam, but that's actually a rack of 12 of those gourds. And folks have anywhere from 4 to hundreds of them, and it's just like a nesting colony.
Yeah. Very cool. And do you want me to pull up that video of why people do that, or do you want to? So that first one.
Yeah, the one that's, I think I called it Petrobras.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, great. Let's watch that then. So we can talk about it while we're watching it.
Yeah.
But here we go. Chat. Understand. I told this poor man that you guys have an attention span of like 2 minutes. Okay? I really told him that. But we're gonna watch either 3 or 4 minutes of this video, okay? So everybody be nice. Everybody learn. This guy's voice is great. So here we go. Thank you so much, Ryan, for $3. Appreciate
you might
that.
think that this is just about the last place that a bird or any other animal would choose to sleep. This is an oil refinery on the banks of the Amazon River in central Brazil. Just across the water, there's lovely virgin rainforest. Yet here, well, just look and listen.
A fine mist of acrid droplets stings your eyes. The noise hurts your ears. Yet promptly at 5 minutes past 6 o'clock every evening, there is an invasion. Purple martins. Stay still and they will settle within inches of you. Why they come here in such numbers is a mystery.
Anonymous tip $10. Thank you so much.
Warmth in this muggy tropical atmosphere of central Brazil. They don't feed here. Perhaps it's because there are fewer hawks around to harry them than in the forest.
Yeah, most of those are
come they do.
1-year-old birds, or less than 1-year-old at that point, so they would have just made their first migration down south.
Many of them will migrate north to the United States, and there they take up residence in very different homes.
They aren't even purple. I think the males are purple, are they not?
Yeah. You'll see some purple ones in there, I'm sure.
Cool. Whoa.
A small lakeside town.
Jack with $3. He asked if these birds weigh 6.5 pounds like the bald eagle challenger. No. Not quite.
They're still remembering the details, though.
They hook onto things.
50 grams. These are 50 grams.
Wow.
There will be a quiz later.
This luxury tower block has accommodation for over 40 adults and 200 youngsters. Each apartment has all modern conveniences. It can be wound down regularly by the local people, and the shelf brought out to make sure that the young are fit and don't need any help with their housekeeping.
So yeah, they're totally chill and
These
used to
apartments are
humans.
so luxurious.
We could
These
talk
days,
about that,
purple
but
martins don't nest in natural sites
yeah,
anymore.
you can lower the houses down and take a look at them.
Totally dependent.
Oh, Kazi, thank you so much for $5. Appreciate that.
Thank you. All right.
Oh, it really is. I mean, it's husbandry.
Yeah, absolutely is. Absolutely is.
Interesting.
Yep. So, he went into the detail a little bit there. Let me switch so I'm not totally confused. Okay. He went into details a little bit there. I think I didn't have sound on the video, but I think he talked about how now, as the result of habitat loss and invasive species,
Yeah.
European starlings and English house sparrows,
Right.
They can't nest at all east of the Rockies, where 99% of the population is. They can't nest at all in natural circumstances. So
The purple martins can't, right? That's what.
Exactly.
Okay, I thought you were saying
So
starlings.
the only place that the purple martins can reproduce now east of the Rockies is in artificial human provided housing,
Right.
which is how we're a thing. The organization, the Purple Martin Conservation Association, because we have to then continue to get new people and new generations to put this housing out. Folks get too old for it, and we need a new generation, because if the people that put the housing out just all get old and die, and nobody takes up the mantle, then this species goes extinct.
Yeah. Anonymous tipped $6, by the way. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
And so they're completely human dependent.
Yeah, completely.
Okay. And because of the starlings and finches, they're invasive species.
Yeah.
So
it's a combination of habitat loss, being us cutting down any tree snags that are out there that would have had those woodpecker holes that they would have nested in. And then in the late 1800s, and I think there's another video that touches on this that I linked to you, European settlers and early Americans introduced European starlings and English house sparrows over from Europe to North America, and they spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
They're incredibly adaptable. They're in every environment there is. You guys, even if you don't know which you're looking for, chat, you've seen them, I guarantee it, wherever you are, because they're everywhere. And they are also secondary cavity nesters, so they also nest in those holes. If there are any holes left, they would nest in them. So luckily
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna ask if they're second cavity nesters, people that put up nests for purple martins, they have issues with that a lot then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a challenge. You have to kind of work to make sure that it's just purple martins that get set up, and reduce the competition from them. And the whole thing with gourds is really interesting. It's a tradition that started with Native Americans before European settlers came over. So it was back before those invasive species, before any of those problems. So purple martins were nesting naturally, but then the Native Americans were hanging up these hollowed out gourds, and we don't know why. But purple martins just started to nest in them, and there was this kind of symbiosis that started from there. And luckily for the purple martins, that tradition was in place for when we came along and screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Because they had that to fall back on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of their story.
So they hung up gourds. That's interesting. I watched your TED Talk from 2015 or something. Yeah, and I saw something about what it could be because they're insectivores, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different theories on why they might have hung those gourds out and kind of established this relationship. It might have been that they were eating pests, insects, whether it's pests of humans or crop pests, agricultural pests. It could have been that they were like watchdogs, because they get used to the people who are around, but they give an alarm call when a stranger comes. It might have been that they were like calendars, because they show up like clockwork every year.
Yeah.
They're like one of the first signs of spring.
Yeah.
I know here where we're at in Erie, Pennsylvania, they're going to show up the first week of April every year. And it might have been just that they liked them. They're pretty birds.
Yeah.
They have a nice song. I was really jealous that your guest last week was able to have live birds on the stream. So I've got the next best thing. This is
oh wow.
His name's
Anonymous
not
at
Challenger.
$20. Thank you so much.
We don't have a name. Maybe chat can name him. This is a male purple martin. You can't really see. I guess you can kind of see.
Yeah, no, you can see it. That's
the
purple.
iridescence. His head's kind of messed up because that's where he was resting. But he died of natural causes. He's freeze dried.
People said, chat's trying to name him. They said name him Martin, John. Name him Bird on his stick. Okay, all right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So, there's two ways that you can preserve songbirds when they're that small. It's not as easy as normal taxidermy, like with a larger animal. So those are freeze dried, which is one way you can do it. It's just,
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just they're so small.
Yeah.
It's a lot of very delicate work if you wanted to taxidermy it, or you could make study skins where folks kind of just remove the skin and the feathers and then they stuff it with wadding. But freeze drying, if you have a freeze dryer, is way easier. So that's what those
crazy. Okay, they're really into naming this bird. They want to name it Moxie. Okay, guys, relax. This is not the point. But that's funny.
Right. Derailed.
That's crazy. Oh yeah. That happens. That's easy.
Yeah, no, I know how it is. I lead those derailments sometimes on Twitch. So.
So how many people do this? How many people have houses like this?
That's a good question.
Do husbandry? I mean, it's all over the country, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically anywhere.
$50. I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We officially hit. We're at $130. Actually, that was fast, you guys. Thank you so much.
Nice. Thanks, guys. So it's tough. We don't really know. There are some numbers out there. It's certainly in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably.
Wow.
So the population right now of purple martins is about 8 million total.
Wow.
Which sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But that's a decline of about a third in the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they as well as other swallows, their populations are just crashing. So it's not just the whole thing with they don't nest naturally anymore, because the other species who nest naturally wouldn't be having that happen.
Right.
So that's where some of our research comes in. We know this issue with the housing. We got that on lock. We know what we need to do. We know we need to teach people about purple martins and encourage them to put houses up if they have property of their own. But there's other things at play, and that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah. Thank you guys for the donations. We got Sniper tip $20, Nilic tip $3, and Anonymous with $1. Thank you so much.
Nice, guys.
Appreciate
awesome.
that a lot. So all these donations are going to you guys. What is your primary focus? What's Purple Martin's primary focus? Is it education? Is it awareness?
We try and strike a balance between research and education. And the education comes in the form of just us trying to teach people who've never heard of them about, the story, like I'm doing here today,
right,
with you guys. But also folks that have the housing or want to put up the housing for birds, how to attract them, how to take care of them. It like you said, it's like husbandry. You're trying to pump out as many of these birds as you can to maintain the species. So that's the education side of things.
Yeah.
And then the research, we got all kinds of stuff going on.
Someone's saying like field trips, Pog. You guys, I think this guy has been to your facility or something in Philly or something like that.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of like schools and parks and public places where we encourage the staff or whoever to establish a purple martin colony there, because it's a great teaching tool. You saw in that video, David Attenborough lowered the houses down. You can pull out the nest. You can hold babies in your hand. That's the kind of thing that sticks with young kids.
Right.
They got to hold a wild animal, and then when you tell them that this bird in a couple of weeks is going to migrate all the way down to the Amazon rainforest, then that just takes it to the next level.
Yeah, totally. We just got a donation that tipped $1 and asked, if purple martins were to go extinct, what changes to other animals would be seen?
Good question.
That is a good question.
So yeah, these birds, and I didn't even go into it yet, they're aerial insectivores, which means they only eat flying insects. So they eat billions and billions of flying insects every year. So if they were gone, we'd have a lot more, pests, insects that are causing problems out there. So, they're in the middle of the food chain. They keep insects in check, but they are also prey for, aerial predators,
friends.
hawks and owls. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got a red tail, right?
I do.
Okay, they don't eat a whole lot of purple martins, so that's okay. Yeah, it's usually the smaller, Cooper's hawk and sharp shin that really like it, and basically any owl that can get a hold of them would love to have purple martins. And the way they nest colonially, they're definitely dinner bells ringing if a predator's around, because there's a lot to eat.
Yeah. When people do nests, do they? This kind of sounds like a silly question, but do they like feed and clean? Is it that kind of husbandry, or is it supplemental feeding, or none?
Yeah. It's really hard to just provide food for them, because all they know is catching insects in the air.
Yeah.
Some folks who really go above and beyond with their care of the nest and everything, care of their colony, will provide some supplemental feeding when the birds first arrive in the spring, because since they only eat those flying insects, if the weather's below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, there really aren't flying insects to be had. So like I said, these guys are one of the first birds that comes back in the spring, and sometimes they're up against it. They come back, and then we have a late winter storm and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they starve in about 2 or 3 days. So some folks will go out and throw. Oop, what just happened? Did you lose me?
No, I still hear you. Oh, you are frozen. Oh, no, you're not. Can you hear me?
What just happened?
Hello?
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Did you lose me, or was
No,
I just active?
I think you were good. I don't know.
Okay, everything went black here.
Oh, weird.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Okay, let me close the stream. Usually our network's pretty good here, but just in case.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Where was I at before I?
We were talking about supplemental feeding and stuff like that.
Yeah, some folks will take that upon themselves, so they'll go out and get a bunch of crickets from the pet store or order them online. Believe it or not, you can order boxes of crickets, and they'll go out and they'll throw them in the air to simulate flying insects. So that's necessary or not is up to the individual if that's something they want to take on, but some folks take it that far. And as far as cleaning, the nests do get occasionally you'll have outbreaks where parasites, there's a whole ecosystem of parasites that live in bird nests. Times, depending on the those will multiply out of control and really be hard on the nestlings, and sometimes folks will go in and replace the nest. They'll take the babies out, put them in a bucket, cover it up, so
so it's super hands-on then, huh?
Super hands-on. So yeah, just swipe it out. The birds don't even care.
That's kind of cool. I mean, what a cool way to learn about them.
Yeah.
So Stream Elements tip $3 asks, what happens if the birds bring diseases back to the U.S.?
They, just like all migratory birds, doing that. There really are no tropical diseases that they're going to bring back that are going to cause an issue that aren't already here.
Right.
These are just one of the migratory species out there, which there are that do it. So
that was
there's
really
really
question. Thank
You
you,
have to
Stream
worry
Elements.
about as far as them bringing things back.
Yeah, and then Connor from American Eagle Foundation asked, is West Nile an issue? Because he sees a bunch of mosquitoes on the cams at nighttime.
Yeah, the mosquitoes, it's pretty gross when they just all come in right at sunset.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, these guys are not really susceptible to that. Like some other bird species, so it's not typically something that you have to worry about with.
Okay, and then one more question here. Elf tipped $1. Thank you, Elf, and asked, "What made Joe want to help this specific bird?" That's cool. Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah.
I want to hear about that.
So how far back do we want to go?
How far back you want.
We'll go all the way back.
Okay.
All right. Me.
You cut out for a second there, or you're still. Good.
All right.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
All right. So, back in grade school, I lived in Southern Illinois, where we have a lot of big storms come through. It's kind of tornado. And we had a big storm come through, really dark clouds, and then it was at sunset, and the clouds were kind of moving by, and sometimes the sun peeks out underneath all the dark clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that. Driveway, and there was a puddle, and there were these bright yellow birds that I had never noticed before, and they were just glowing in the sunlight. I just couldn't get over. I'd never noticed or seen them before. They were all just bathing there and eating grit and whatever.
Yeah.
To get a bird book and figure out what they were, they ended up being goldfinches, which a lot of you probably already know what those are, but that just kind of hooked me into birds. I always at way to even in urban environments that don't really see a lot of nature, birds. You go out, no matter where you live, one of the first animals you see is a bird, no matter where you are. So it's a great teaching tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always into science. Mm-hmm. School studied birds. School did some time as a teacher.
Oh, really?
Science.
I'm
before
sorry,
that,
you keep cutting out there. You said you were a teacher and you taught what?
Sorry. Let me close some more stuff here. All right. Let's see if that helps. So, just had a long career of research and education, and then we moved here to Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. A job as a field biologist came up with this organization. I didn't really know much about purple martins before I started working here. Mm-hmm. I was just looking for a job where, I could do research and educate at the same time.
Yeah.
And I got the job as a field biologist here, and I've really enjoyed it since.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So as a field biologist, what do you do? I mean, what do field biologists do?
So field biologist is basically the of the biology world.
The what of the biology world?
So they're out doing the dirty work.
Yeah.
For the university researchers and that sort of thing. They all have crews of field biologists that do collection and the stuff that you need a lot of man hours and people to do. So here for our organization, the field biologists take care of our research colonies. So we have 4 big colonies where research at, and they do a lot of the banding of the birds, leg bands on all of the birds that we get our hands on, including all the babies every year.
Yeah.
So we put out stuff that we can talk about.
So are these Amazon videos that you've sent me? Is this part of your field biology work?
Yeah. So.
Thank you. $25 from Anonymous. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Let me. What's going on here?
I have the Through the Flooded Forest video. Is that a good one to show of something that you've done?
Yeah, hit that. We can go into that story.
All right, guys. Here is, let's see. Oh, I also want to play the cheese one. I like that one.
Yeah, that goes along with it, though.
So what is this video? You guys boating in the Amazon, right?
That's actually us boat in search of a huge flock of swallows that we heard about from the locals there in Brazil. And that is a flooded rainforest. So it looks like much water, but there's actually the Amazon River and its tributaries, the water level between wet and dry season is like 40 feet. So that's actually, we're kind of halfway up.
That's 40 feet of water in a forest?
Yeah, exactly.
Holy cow. That's a lot of water.
Crazy, the amount of water. Oh my
gosh. What the heck?
Yeah, so we got just kind of a local guy with a boat there, and he knew where people had talked about this big flock of going.
I love this.
Just kind of cruise through this dark, it's like your classic dark water, deepest parts of the Amazon. It was really fun.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
So the story on what we were doing there, we were looking for this flock of birds that we had heard about. That video that we saw first, where the guy was at that refinery.
Yep.
3 years ago, we went to that refinery to try and we were going to use those birds refinery as kind of our main research site down in Brazil.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. So we went down there and we just got stonewalled by people. They were like, we don't have those birds here. We don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, what are you talking about? We'd seen videos. It's this famous video with David Attenborough, BBC documentary.
Yeah.
Just getting nowhere. We didn't know if maybe they'd done something to the birds nefarious, or maybe the birds just left on their own. Maybe they just didn't want environmental types, because it's a refinery.
Right. Yeah.
Polluting a lot. So we actually, one of the boat drivers to let us do a stakeout.
Yeah.
On this refinery. So we went out.
Really? Sneaky. Okay. And Sel, thank you so much for $50. Fooly, thank you for $10. Really appreciate that. We're almost at $300, guys. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, so we went out, and the guy thought we were crazy, which we and I'm sure he was a little nervous about it. So we went out, restricted property, so we couldn't stand outside of it. But the river was open, so we went out on the Amazon and parked on the other side of it.
Yeah.
The refinery, shoreline, and the island, and we just kind of pulled up on.
Here, okay. You keep cutting out. Let me call you back. Okay, that might fix some things. Hang on. Sorry guys. Mods, keep it at just chatting. Sorry, I just got that message. And here, okay, try that. Are you there?
Here. Can you see me?
Yes, it's a little bit laggy, but maybe it'll get better. Let's see. Okay.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong camera.
Yeah, it's a different angle.
Wait a minute. That doesn't look right. Hang on.
Try changing the server region. Folks, if you think I know how to do that. I don't know how to do that.
Okay, there I am. That's
Okay.
me, right?
Yeah, you're frozen though. Oh, no you're not. Just super, super laggy. Okay. Is that something that I should do?
So
Tara, should I do something? Top right. US. Oh, because you're on the East Coast. I think that made it worse. Yeah, it definitely made it worse. Here, let me call you back again.
Yep.
What should I put him on? Should I put him on US East? Because he's on the East Coast, or should it be on West? Because Central Chicago. Central. Okay, I'll put it on Central. All right. Okay, are you there, Joe?
I'm here. Can you see?
No, I can't. Your camera's loading.
All right. Is that better?
I think so. Let's see. Chat, are we better? A little bit?
A little better?
Oh no, there's a lag. Oh jeez. Okay.
Switch to my other cam. Maybe it's, has something to do with my setup here.
Okay.
They call me back.
Alrighty. Sugar! Scuffed podcast. Restart the call. We have been. What do you mean? Relax with the leaked what? It's just a video. Try having him call you. Okay, thanks guys. I appreciate your help. God. Does he have another page open? I think he closed everything. Get Skype? What? Is that a joke? Red contact lenses? What? Oh, my eyes do look kind of red. That's whack. No, it's just because I'm wearing a red shirt. Oh no, I said whack. When did I say whack? Wait, why did I say whack? Okay. Hello?
Alright, how's that?
Pretty not good. Let's see. I feel like we were doing the best on where we were already at, guys, on
the server?
Yeah, like west. Okay, let's see. Is this better, chat? Okay. Where did we leave off? I don't remember.
I was staking out this refinery.
It's fine, but it's laggy. What do I do about the lag, chat? Someone asked how the management techniques mentioned on the PMCA site, how are they implemented? I'm not. I mean, if you know what he's asking, I'm not sure exactly what he's asking there.
I guess I would need to know a little bit more specifics on what they were talking about, which techniques, but and we've kind of techniques over 30 years of our existence. Mm-hmm. So implement all of them. I don't know exactly what they're asking.
And then Sharks tipped $5 and said, "No question, but thank you for what you and PMCI are doing. Every animal is important." That's very nice. Thank you. So your stakeout. So you staked out a refinery. That's where we're at.
We're across the river from this refinery that was high security. Turns out that refinery was right next to a military base as well.
Oh, okay.
Shady. And it was storming, so we had the sides down on the boat. They're like you just like it a little bit, and we're peeking out with binoculars. Like I was convinced we were going to jail. We're going to go to Brazilian prison.
Oh my
And
gosh.
none of us spoke Portuguese. Like this is a terrible idea, but we needed to know, what happened with these birds.
Right. How many of you were there?
Weren't any there. They were telling the truth. They're gone, which leads us to that last video where we're heading out for this rumored large roost of purple martins and other swallows that were down the river. So that's 3 years later that we finally got a clue on where those birds might have gone to. We were going on that boat. Oh, let's see, we could do
I have that video of the
the
tower?
roost.
Oh, the roost.
Yeah, the roost.
Let's see. Yes. Okay. Here we go. So this is the place that you're talking about then.
So that's even out in deeper water. Those are just, it looks like little shrubs. It's like the tippy tops of huge rainforest trees, and we're just like floating above the forest in a boat.
That's a lot of purple martin.
So yeah, we were so excited we'd found them. There's like 500,000.
Holy cow, that's a lot of birds.
It's with a phone.
Here you guys are.
They're just swirling around, and they all just drop out at once. And the video doesn't do it justice, but it makes like a wind when they all come down, and just this crazy sound. It's just it's insane, the way they were behaving there. Excited that we had found them. While we were down there, we finally had our base of research operations down there. And so we hung around, for a few days around that roost. There was a floating platform.
We just saw him drop out of the sky. That was crazy. Wait,
there was a floating platform nearby for a few nights doing research on those birds. So we would wait till they all came in and landed. We would paddle out there quietly and just grab them off the tree branches. And so we were putting tags on them, their migration on the way back.
Okay, so tell us about tagging. How does that work?
Yeah, so we do all kinds of different tagging. That tagging that we were doing there, part of what's called the MODIS network. And that's like a big international collaboration where anybody really can put up, it looks like a TV antenna. Idea is to put up a network of these antennas all over the place. Just be like cell phone towers for animals with tags on them. So as they fly by, it'll get picked up at the different antennas all over the place.
So for them to get picked up, the birds themselves have to have devices on them.
Yeah, so they've got these tags on them, and those tags are super cheap. All they do is beep, basically, but they beep code, kind of like a barcode. So you register your barcode with that bird, and then wherever it goes and gets picked up, it's part of this research network. So we actually, when we were down there, we were putting a bunch of those tags out on birds, and we also put out the first couple of antennas in this system, the entire Amazon rainforest, and I think the first in Brazil and anywhere farther south. And there's that video that's like the drone shot of us.
One of the videos you linked me?
I do last time, but
also this guy clarified, and he said, I was curious how they managed to regulate human activities to avoid the negative impacts on purple martins. Well, you go ahead, Joe.
I'm still not entirely sure what they mean. I apologize. I guess the negative active humans would be is that what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, you cut out. What was that?
Maybe he's talking about habitat loss, or
I think
I
they
don't know,
do. I think they do. I don't think that they regulate human activities so much as educate people so that there's less of it.
Thank you for
Like-
bailing me out. Yeah. No, I mean, it's more about, just teaching people about what they can do and how they can help.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of risk of people.
Were you talking about a video that you wanted me to play?
One
here?
that's like the tower in the middle of the rainforest.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, this is one of my favorite ones. This is such a cool shot.
I was a drone there that day.
So you guys put this up?
Yeah. Well, the tower primarily was there without us, but we were putting antennas on the top of it.
Yeah.
That right there is us putting up the first one of those. They're called telemetry stations in the entire rainforest, the entire Amazon. Kind of the part of us being able to track Brazil with this system.
So, can I make a purple martin nest myself? Is it responsible to have a gourd or house in my backyard?
Yeah, we encourage it. All you need is to be living in a place where is in their natural range, and all you need is enough open space for them to feel comfortable. They don't like being by tall trees because it increases their risk of predation for them.
Right, yeah.
So as long as you have kind of an open yard or open space, and you live where purple martins exist, absolutely, we encourage it 100%. I mean, that's main things we do is try and encourage people to do that.
Yeah. Challenger Unknown said the official website has instructions how to set up a nest, and you guys sell nests and equipment.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that we make ends meet here as a nonprofit. Memberships and donations, but we also have a store where we sell the housing. There's some housing out there that's not, they don't do well in it. And we've kind of on the scope of all the different types of housing out there, and we've got that in our marketplace as well.
Yeah.
So
command PMCA in chat, guys, if you want more information on that.
System, you can deal with it is that you can get live feedback on where an animal is.
Yeah. Is this the video with the dots and the fun music?
No, that's a different technology.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one, it's just it picks them up wherever they are. The tags are really small. Actually, some people have put them on dragonflies to track dragonfly migration.
Really? That's so crazy. What the heck? Okay. So this is also different from the tagging video that you sent me, or the
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? What's the device that they put on them?
It looks like I got one of our other tags there. I mean, it basically looks like this. Just a little bitty antenna coming off of it. Really light. Really the size when you battery on it. The actual technology is really small, which is how they can put it on insects. But people are putting them on like animals, really anything.
That's so crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah, the whole idea was that they're cheap. You can get live feedback on where they are, and the only other option for live feedback is satellite tags, which a lot of folks do with large birds of prey and other large mammals and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sending a signal up to a satellite, and then that relays the animal. First off, those are for songbird to wear. They're still too big for songbirds to wear. The technology hasn't shrunk enough. But also they're incredibly expensive. There's one tag is several $1,000s, and then data from the satellite company is $1,000, $2,000 a year, like huge money to use on or something large that's is going to live longer. But with a songbird, it might get eaten the next day. It might get eaten when you let them go. So it's it's not a great investment for that. So that's where this technology comes in.
We got a donation here of $50. Thank you so much. And the donation says that you need to adjust your input sensitivity on your mic. So he said to go into Discord settings, and then voice and video, and then to turn off automatically determine input sensitivity, and then drag the slider all the way to the right there. Did you follow that?
Let's see.
To the left.
Like
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
To the left.
Oh.
All right. Did you do that? Is that... Are you there, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hopefully that's better.
Yeah, I think that.
I slid the thingy.
Okay, nice. You sound like me.
I put it that way, and then I put it that way.
Right.
Hopefully that's good.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that donation. I appreciate that.
Donate to get me to adjust the mic, though. You could have just asked, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
But yeah, there's that other map or that other video with the
yes. Which
dots.
One? Oh, the dots. Yes, this is off. This one's so great.
Yeah, you could. And then I'll talk about the technology that we use to do that.
Okay, here we go. Let's see, we want to start at 20 seconds.
Yeah, just a little bit in past the text, probably.
Okay, so tell us what's going on here, I guess, while it's happening.
So let me pull up your stream here so I can see where we're at. Yeah, so basically each one of those dots is an individual purple martin, and that is following their way south to the Amazon. Those are all birds that were tagged here at our office in Northwest Pennsylvania. Wow. So you can see kind of the different routes that they take.
So these are all the birds that have the expensive tagging equipment?
They're kind of middle of the road, budget tags. Not the satellite ones, but another one I can explain in a minute. All right, so they kind of hang out here in Brazil for a little bit, but you can kind of bump forward. Just watch them mill around.
Go forward?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So this shows them heading back too.
Yeah. So on the way back, like a shot. Really as long to migrate north as they do going south. Segue to another one of the videos.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so they make that jump over the Gulf. Stop.
How long does this migration take them?
On the way back, it only takes about 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks.
2 weeks to go from Brazil to... Oh my gosh.
Super fast.
What the heck?
It's like a couple of months. They hang out around Cancun, believe it or not, on the way down. So, oh my God, there I am. I'm going to turn that off. So on the migration down, they get across the Gulf to the Yucatan Peninsula, the rainforest there, and then they just hang out for like a month, month and a half. You know, after that long flight, probably molting, which is replacing some of their feathers every year. Birds, it's like really strategic. That they want to do it in a place where they're safe, and the timing is really important because eventually you have to that you fly with, and you won't be able to fly very well.
You have to what with birds that you can fly with?
Eventually you'll lose those feathers that you fly with on your wing.
Right.
You have to really, evolution has kind of planned that really well for them. And I think a lot of it happens there in the Yucatan during that little break they take.
Yeah.
Actually, this is probably an awesome time to do that video. I think it's called Messenger.
Yes. Let's see. Okay.
That'll be a great segue into these types of tags.
Cool. All right, let's play that. You're back.
Okay. So, see this little dude right here? It's got so this sits on the back of the bird like a backpack, like this. And this is kind of an older model of the tag, but this is called a light level geolocator, and it's basically just a light sensor there on the end, kind of like a night light, where it knows if it's bright or not out, and it turns on and off your night light. This does the same thing. It records light levels throughout the day.
Neat. Is it like glued on there, or is it like strapped around?
Yeah, so yeah, it's strapped on. You can kind of see the straps here. So each one of these straps would go around the leg of the bird.
Right. Oh, so this is like the video that you showed.
Okay, exactly. So this is a geolocator, and it's looking at light levels. It records when it gets bright and when it gets dark, and from knowing when sunrise and sunset is, you know how far east or west you are, like with time zones. But you can also tell from the length of the day how far north or south you are, because with the seasons, days get shorter or longer. So you can roughly figure out where you are in the world by looking at the length of the day and the time of sunrise and sunset. So these little tags we started putting out on purple martins, and that was the first time we were ever really able to figure out their migration route and timing and everything, and figure out what habitat they're using throughout their migration. And that, it was the first songbird that we'd ever done that on.
Yeah.
So super exciting. And then technology came along. So that's what that map with the dot, or that video with the dots, those were all birds that had these things on them.
Got it. So how much does an individual one of those cost,
Prices coming down. These are like $300-400. Well, actually they're probably like $300 now each.
Yeah.
So way cheaper than a satellite tag.
Right.
But the problem is you have to catch the bird after it has to survive. It has to come back, and you have to catch it and retrieve it, and then get the data off of it, hook it to your computer.
Yeah, so you wish that bird good luck when you release it, huh?
Exactly. So yeah, and then that was like 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
That happened, and then the last 3 years or so, GPS technology has gotten miniaturized enough, which is what these tags are. And that video, we don't have to show it, but it's me putting one of these on a bird, and that takes the accuracy of where the bird is from like 200 kilometers down to 10 meters. So you go from knowing that, hey, this bird was in the Yucatan Peninsula somewhere, to knowing the tree that it was sitting on in the Yucatan Peninsula. So you can really do a lot more scientifically with the data that you get from that, when it comes to figuring out the habitat that they choose.
I think, do you mind if I show the video? I think it'd be really cool. I thought that this was really interesting.
Go for it. Yeah.
So guys, this is Joe tagging a purple martin here.
Oh.
Let's see if I can skip through. Okay, there's a bird.
Yeah, that is a really nice example of a ASY female. Lots of dark underneath those feathers. Okay.
So it looks like you're measuring something here,
Yeah, we do a bunch of measurements. We measure, obviously, the weight of the bird. We look at a few of the measures of the wing size and a bone of the leg called the tarsus. Sometimes we do other measurements as well, but basically that's just to figure out the size of the bird.
Mm-hmm.
Then we put on the tag. The
I
little
see.
is like braided Teflon, like special order, and it on carefully. We use like a pencil to make sure that it's kind of got the right amount of slack, so it's not too tight, but it's not too loose.
Mm-hmm.
We use super glue to secure the knot, and we put an extra glue on top of that, and use paint on one of the leg bands that we put on the bird, and that just helps us to identify that bird easier next year when it comes back.
So these birds that you tag, you said that you have to find the same bird to retrieve the device to get the data off of it, right?
Yeah, we do.
So how do you go about doing that? I mean,
Oh, the good thing about these birds is they get really strong sight fidelity, which means that if they kind of successfully breed 1 year, same place after their migration. So they'll go down to Brazil, do their thing, come back exactly to the same place. So of the birds that we put these tags on to a colony, one of our other ones that are surrounding. So we spend a lot of time out in the spring with spotting scopes and binoculars, just looking at all the birds, looking for those leg bands that we've painted. Because by then, the feathers kind of hide the tag. It's not really a big tag. It's just the antenna sticking out.
right.
Here you can kind of see, this is another freeze-dried one, but you can see they all get a purple band.
Yeah, I
and
can see that.
a silver band. This one happens to be painted yellow, so we would have been looking just for a yellow one.
Mm-hmm.
This is what a 1-year-old female looks like. So it's not a lot of purple. This one's pretty dull because it's older.
So the males are purple and the females are
females have the lighter bellies and
Right.
not as purple back.
okay.
We wore a tag down to Brazil and back, so I've got its actual right here. It came back and it died causes, but yeah, so we've got its route that it took right here.
Oh wow, of the one that you were just holding.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really cool. We get to learn so much about them. But that GPS technology took it to the next level. I can share a screen here if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And show you what to see now with this GPS tech.
How many birds a year do you do that tagging process with?
Whatever the budget allows, really.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's between 10 and 20 birds that we tag, depending on funding.
Mm-hmm. Also, somebody, Jack tipped $3. Thank you, Jack. And he said, I see those gourd things at Disney in Orlando. Did PMC pick those up?
A huge partner of ours in the Purple Martin research. So we kind of do have a hand in that. We didn't put those up specifically, but we work with them. Actually, that first trip down to there was a Disney researcher on that trip with us,
Oh,
and I think our next
cool.
trip will probably have a Disney one with us. All right.
Disney's a great partner for conservation.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
They're incredible. What they do
Wow.
for conservation is great. All right, can you see?
Yes.
Do you have? All right. So started off the GPS tags. They didn't have a lot of battery life.
Thank you so much.
So we were only able to get like a couple of locations, but still it was, and we were able to get specific locations on where the birds were instead of just kind of knowing they're in the vicinity. And we started to seeing them on using these islands.
Thank you so
Bars
much.
in, I don't know if can you see that? There's like a dot here.
Yep.
The tributaries of the Amazon.
Yeah.
To see that right away with this here's another one. So that's that same bird. It just went to a different island.
So the
this
white
is
line
these,
is tracking a bird's flight.
Yeah, it's kind of roughly, it doesn't mean a whole lot when it's just a few fixes like this, because these probably had a lot of days between them. Let's see, that one was October 31st, 2014. This one was November 15th. So, it's not like it went straight from there to there.
Right.
Don't mean a lot here, but then I'll jump forward to what we got this year. So data that we got back for the first time, where we got like,
oh wow,
migration tracks all the way down and back, because the tags have tiny little solar panels on them that recharge.
What?
So it was,
no way.
Yeah,
we
were able to get past the battery restrictions that it did. So this is us up here. So after it was done breeding, it went and spent a lot of time across in Canada here. Migrated down, hung out here. This is the southward track right here. A roost location is what we call a pre-migratory roost. So they get together in huge flocks like that one that we saw in Brazil. South, kind of safety in numbers. It's usually in a place with a lot of food. They're social animals, so they kind of clump together like that. And these are like the daily feeding trips this one was taking. So sleeping here, going out. I think this is Mobile. Yeah, Mobile Bay.
Wow.
And
speaking of this data, somebody asked, what's the success rate of data retrievals from the tracking chips?
Awesome question. Yeah, so 30 to 40%.
Okay.
Terrible. We have a great return. 30 to 40% is pretty average, or the number of tags that we put out versus what we get back.
Okay.
That migration south, there's a lot of kind of hanging around in Honduras, Nicaragua. Is doing here in Brazil. So this is the Amazon rainforest. This guy was hanging out kind of in the southern parts of the Amazon by the let me lay another tag on here as well. So this pink one just came in. Track.
That's so crazy.
Was just in the heart of the rainforest for the most of the time. Actually, so where we went, this is Manaus. It's kind of like the capital of the Amazon. Really the only big city in the Amazon, the only place you can fly into easily. Like right here is where that...
You cut out there. Right here's where what?
Refinery was from that video.
Yes. Very cool. So you staked out just across the river there.
Yeah. It's like right here somewhere, and we were on, I think, but where that roost moved to is actually where this bird was. This is that we were at with that boat. Actually, was on that same island, and I just missed it on that trip that we took by a couple of weeks. So it was at that island, then I went to that island, and then we met up back here in Pennsylvania.
There's a good question in chat. They said, do you select specific birds that they think have a better chance to complete the migration when they choose which birds to tag?
Awesome question. Awesome question. Yeah. So you certainly don't want to do it on a bird that's small for its age. Survival has to do with their body weight and what they're, that determines what they're able to carry. So if it's a small bird, we won't put it on it. And we don't put any on those first year birds that have such high mortality that first year. Typically, we try and pick adult birds. Males and females, there's not a huge difference in the return rate on them. So just not a small one and not a young one.
Right.
Is
that mortality, that high mortality rate in the first year, is that primarily because of predation or?
We don't know.
Okay.
Because we haven't been able to track.
Right.
We haven't gotten back any of the tags we put out on those birds. But it goes back to that towers. Those tags on the towers, or we put those on those birds that duration yet, and as that network of towers fills out, we'll be able to see if it's in their migration through the United States, if they die down in Brazil, if they die going over the Gulf.
Right.
No. It's tough for them. They just learned to fly.
Right.
And then within like a month,
crazy migration,
parents don't go with them. Their parents go off on their own, and they don't stay together either. So it's just like once, and feed themselves, they're on their own. So they've got to use instinct to figure out.
We got a tip that asked, how do they catch birds to tag them? I know that the videos show that the babies were easy to get close to, but what about the older birds? Also a good question. Look at you guys go. I'm so proud.
Great. Said about them is not true.
I know. I underestimated. Them.
She didn't say anything bad. I promise. Yeah. Oh.
Oops.
Parents have on a testing site.
One more time, their parents have a
settled on a sharing screen. There we go.
Okay.
Once they've picked a nesting cavity, a gourd, or a house, a house. Once they've done that,
turn your camera back on for me.
Yeah, you got to turn it back on. All right, am I back?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Once they've picked a place to nest and kind of invested in that, we wait for them to go in, and then we block the entrance once they go into their nest, and then we can lower the housing down and get them out of it that way.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, so one of the things that we found out right away when we had this GPS data back was that birds from all over the range in North America, like Canada all the way down to Florida to Texas to Pennsylvania, they were all hitting the same places in Brazil, those little islands and that sort of thing. And we totally didn't expect that from the first data we were getting back from those geolocators that looked at light level, but they weren't very accurate. It seemed like they were just kind of going all over the place. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to it. But as soon as we got that first year of GPS tags back, there were these overlaps. Birds from all over were converging in the same places, and we were blown away by that. So, we've been working with folks down in Brazil to conserve and protect those areas that it seems like are really important to purple martins to use down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a really cool map. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, Ozzy, for $5. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Said, even though you've only done 2 so far, I've really enjoyed watching and look forward to future episodes. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, cool. You guys are being great. I appreciate it a lot. Okay, so let's see. That we've gone through all the videos here. You sent the bulleted list that you sent me. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate it. The bulleted list you sent me, a couple things in there that I am so curious about, because the first time I read it, I was like, what? Like, what the heck? Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah. Okay, diet determination via fecal DNA barcoding. Yeah. So is this your personal research, or does this have to do with purple martin conservation?
So we're doing it from the angle of purple martin conservation.
Okay.
We know they eat flying insects.
Right.
We don't know exactly what they eat. At least we don't know what they're eating now. There have been some diet studies in the past where they looked at either stomach contents or they retrieved food as they were feeding the nestlings. So we've got some data from the past as far as what they ate. But we want to know now, with the way the climate's changing and the way the insect populations are crashing all over the world, what they're eating now, to see if that's something that's contributing to their population decline. Because it's not just them, like I mentioned, it's all aerial insectivores, really birds all over the place, no matter what kind they are, or their populations of the majority of them are declining. But these aerial insectivores, the swallows and swifts, are really hard hit right now. We're trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
So the way that we're doing that is kind of a newer technology that folks are using in research now. And basically, if you look at the droppings of the animal, the feces, if you retrieve that, you can see what they ate by the DNA that's in the poop.
Right.
So, you digest the food, but you don't break down the DNA of the thing you ate.
Right.
So, this is the first year that we're kind of trialing this. It's through a University of Central Florida.
Yeah.
So we'll be sending fecal samples down there, and
cool. So this is relatively new then.
Yeah. Just the last few years they've been doing this type of research. I'm sure that it's we've been able to replicate DNA and that sort of thing for a long time, but I think the cost probably has come down to make it a little more accessible for doing a lot of it, because you have to do a lot of samples to kind of get an overall look at what they're eating.
Really
so the
quick,
thought is
Mike just donated $100. Mike, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I'm sorry I didn't want to interrupt you earlier, but
no, that's awesome. Interrupt me anytime.
Super generous. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
That's great.
$459 out of a $500 goal. Thank you guys so much.
Amazing, guys.
I read an article about this recently, but they said, I think it was titled eDNA or something like that. It was about
environmental DNA.
Yeah. So it was about I guess fecal DNA barcoding, and then also extracting DNA from pollen and water samples and things like that, so they get a better feel for what has interacted with that matter that they're testing.
It's very similar. You can, whatever the organism, it's leaving DNA in its path. It's kind of like looking for footprints or something.
So cool.
So you're able to just take a water sample and look at all the different DNA that's floating in there, and figure out the animals that live in the stream, and figure out what they were eating.
Exciting. I mean,
It's
what a
crazy.
more like efficient way of, instead of like overturning rocks to find,
Exactly.
to find these animals. That is so cool.
Yeah, exactly. I think there, there's a lot of promise for that for, um, surveying habitat to see if there's animals that are endangered and what's living there,
Totally.
because, with some species that are really low populations or really hard to find, you don't know if they're using a stream or whatever until this technique will help to make that a lot easier.
Right. So cool. So cool. Okay, let's see. Other things that I have no idea what they are, but I want to ask you about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that $1 donation, Zoyo. And environmental contaminant testing via feather samples. So this might, kind of a similar concept.
Yes, sort of, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Joe could $50. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And we hit our $500 donation goal, guys. Thank you so much.
Nice.
That is
Thank
so
you,
cool.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So the environmental contaminants. So
yeah.
Like I mentioned with the molting thing, they molt different feathers in different times of the year. So, if you look at the feathers that were grown in a certain time of year, you'll know with the migration of the bird and the timing of that where it grew that feather, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's another technique called stable hydrogen isotope analysis.
Okay.
So all across the world, there's it's kind of like an invisible map of different isotopes of hydrogen. So that's different weights of hydrogen. So it's got a different number of neutrons, protons. It's basically different weight of water.
Okay.
So if you could take a sample of water, you can tell where it came from roughly in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So animals that consume water, which they all do,
right,
that different types of hydrogen ends up in their body tissue.
Right.
So you can take a look at that body tissue and the types of hydrogen that's in there, and then you'll know where it grew. So combining that,
where
they grew that cell or that feather, or where the animal lived, by the amounts of the different types of hydrogen that's in it.
So you get tissue out of the feathers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're getting feather samples.
Right.
We can look at the hydrogen, see exactly where that feather was grown.
Right.
And while it was being grown, it was also absorbing environmental contaminants that the bird was eating or encountering.
Right.
So down in Brazil, there's a lot of mercury because they use a lot of mercury in gold mining down there.
Yeah.
So if we look at a feather that was grown in a certain part of Brazil that we can tell from the hydrogen,
right,
and then we can look at the level of environmental contaminants, whether it's heavy metals like mercury or pesticides, we can see if it's encountering poison.
With $50. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah,
all of that from a feather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is like the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's incredible, right? So yeah, we're looking to see, again, it's trying to figure out why their populations are going down.
Mm-hmm.
We look, we don't know what's going on in Brazil. We got a pretty good handle on what's going on back here in North America with the birds.
Right.
We know the environmental conditions. We know the whole thing with their housing. But that whole migration thing, as soon as they leave our shores, up until about 10 years ago when we started putting these tags on, we didn't have a clue what was going on with them. So just in the last 10 years, we've been able to figure out so much more and start to ask these questions. Are they encountering pesticide poisoning?
Right.
Maybe that's why their populations are going down. Is it heavy metal poisoning? Is it habitat loss? We know now the habitat types that they like to use. So is that being protected?
Yeah.
Every time we get one of these GPS tracks, we're blown away by what we see, and it's everything you zoom in on that map is like, I didn't know that. That's new questions. It's incredible.
So one more time, just for clarification, can we go back to the beginning when you were talking about like the hydrogen isotopes and how that helps, like how they're different everywhere? Can you explain that one more time for me?
Let me find a map here.
Okay. I don't know how any of this works.
Yeah. So there we go. How about a map? There we go. Put that over here.
Chat, who's learning? Anybody here learning?
Good.
Me smiling. Yes.
You see this map now?
Yes.
I mean, this goes into a lot of the different types of hydrogen and water and that, but basically this map is what's important. So you see the different, let's see if I can make that bigger. Is that better?
Yep.
I blew it up, but basically each of these colors is a different or different types of stable isotopes. Stable means it's not radioactive. Like a lot of times you hear about isotopes and think radiation or nuclear uranium or whatever. These are stable. They don't change over time, really.
Okay.
This map is basically, if you had a piece of tissue and you analyzed it, you'd be able to narrow it down to one of these colors on the map as far as where it came from.
Okay. Got it. Very cool.
Right. Turn.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. I'm never gonna look at a feather the same way. That is
it's incredible what you can tell. I mean, it just seems like this dead, dried up thing, but it's got so many stories to tell. So we could look at the poop and figure out things from that. We can look at the feathers that have fallen off or that we've removed for sampling and things from that.
Wow. That's crazy.
They're migrating all over the place, and that they're collecting of in the way that they bring with them.
You cut out for that. You said they're collecting what?
They're collecting a history of what they've encountered along the way as they go, so we could do as history.
So then the last thing on that bulleted list was your citizen science projects. 3 citizen science projects. Can you tell us about those?
We've got 3 really big citizen science projects, and citizen science, for you guys that don't know, it's basically scientists enlisting the help of the public data. Backs or
you cut out for pretty much all
one of the biggest problems in conducting research is have to make it happen. So science, if we can enlist volunteers all across the country or all across the world, something that we could never have afforded to do before.
Right. More people, more data.
There's no way that you could ever get a grant that would fund you to hire people across the country or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
This this trend of citizen science, it just makes so much possible now as far as research, the questions we're able to ask and get answers to now. So
someone in chat just asked, how can you ensure that the data is accurate in that case, though?
that is part of the question. And you have to have in place to kind of body level of the data. So there'll be data that's thrown out along the way for not being acceptable, or
Right.
there's different rules that you put in place to determine what data is kept.
Right. Okay.
So yeah,
what are the projects?
Being so used to humans and so accessible makes them a great studying this way.
Yeah.
So out arrival study, and basically that's just folks saying when they see their first purple martin of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the nickname of a scout, purple martin scout. So that's where it gets the name from.
Okay.
But basically it's for 20, 30 years we've been this way, timing of migration.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can look at that data through the lens of climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Spring has changed, when warmer weather comes in or when colder. So the different weather that occurs in the spring has affected a lot of animals in the spring. So now we're able to use that data set to look at the effects on purple martin migration. So that's a big one. We've got of reports over the years on that. I think it's like 60,000 or something. Wow. It's a huge data set.
Yeah.
And the next biggest one is called Martin Watch, Project Martin Watch, and it's basically every week during the nesting season, folks are recording in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a data set of productivity is what it's called. So that's how the nest did during the year, how many babies arrived and left the nest.
Right.
So again, you can look at that through the lens of change, climate change,
mm-hmm.
look at long-term trends with that.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is Project Martin Roost. So that is us tracking places in North America where they form those big flocks before they migrate.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Here, you're cutting out a lot here. Let me try to call you back again. And Mo, thank you for another $50. He said birds are cool. Yes, they are. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Let me call you back here. Let's see if this helps at all.
Thanks.
All right. I don't know. I think it's an internet thing, guys, on his end. But it's not so bad. All right, let's see if this helps.
I'm back.
All right.
Sorry.
No worries. You're good. So the Martin Watch.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about Martin Roost.
Roost, right.
Yeah. So all across North America, they form these kind of big, giant flocks before they migrate south. And this project is to kind of figure out the habitat that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, are they running up against human activity? Is there a conflict there?
Mm-hmm.
Because at least in the South, a lot of times these giant flocks occur in like mall parking lots,
mm-hmm.
In a couple of trees in the middle of a mall parking lot and that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
So, those people who own that property are not always huge fans of the amount of droppings that those birds produce, even though it's an amazing spectacle.
Right.
Sometimes there's kind of conflict between nature and the property owners. So we want to know when that occurs so we can, work with the landowner to, mitigate the problem or reassure them that it's just for a short amount of time before they migrate away, and that's not a problem anymore. But also, sometimes there are, habitat. There's risk to the habitat as well that we want to know about, and to be able to characterize the habitat to figure out what they're using is important. So we can make sure that type of habitat is preserved so they can use it.
Right. That is so cool. What a what a great way to get people involved and and get something positive out of it for you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, that last one, it's kind of like a scavenger hunt for folks, because you can on weather radar you can see these flocks of birds in the morning when they take off. It looks like a little exploding circle.
I saw that on your TED Talk.
Yeah, so we can locate them through radar, but we're not entirely sure if it's all purple martins or what habitat it's in. So through the Citizen Science Project, we can say we think there's one here on the map. These are the coordinates of it, and then people can go there and see if they can find it. So it's like a hunt for them. So
yeah, that's so cool. Fun. That's great. That's great for kids too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's super cool, hands-on way. Yeah, to get them interested in science and birds and get them involved. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
All right. So, what's your favorite bird of prey? Is it your red tail? I won't tell your hawk if it's not it.
It's not a red tail. I would have to think. Let me think. Oh, that's so hard. Out of all birds of prey, I'm particularly fond of American kestrels.
Kestrels?
Oh, I just think they're so cute.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. So I was. This one's mine. I was just so jealous. I was so jealous.
Oh my goodness, it's a barn owl.
I was so jealous watching last week. I mean, it's hard to top, a live eagle on stream. So I went over. This is my favorite one. This is a barred owl.
Wow.
He's very well behaved.
That's
He's
a
been
little
sitting
one.
here quietly. Yeah, he's not very big.
Look at this, Connor. Connor's still here. Look at how well manned this bird is.
I was so jealous. I'm like, there's no way I can top that. I'm gonna have to figure out something.
That's awesome.
This is my favorite. I like them because they got those black eyes.
Oh, the eyes are insane.
The eyes are amazing.
So cool. Is that your favorite bird of prey? Is it owls?
It is. It is.
Cool.
Barred owl. Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice. That's awesome.
Right.
I was not expecting that.
So what's your favorite bird of prey in the whole world, not just here?
Harpy eagle.
That's mine too.
No way, you're lying.
Yeah. They're
amazing.
No
way! Oh my gosh, they're so cool. I saw one. I went to the San Diego Zoo the other day and saw one, and I sat there for 25 minutes. I just stared at it.
Unbelievable.
It was incredible.
So the researchers that I worked with down in the Amazon, they work at the same place as kind of the world's foremost harpy eagle biologist, who used to be a purple martin biologist back in the day. So she went from purple martins to harpy eagles. So anywhere anybody, yeah, right. She is the tiniest little person. She's awesome, but she's not this small, but she's just a little person, not a little person, but
right, short.
Exactly.
Like
Thank
me.
You.
Yes.
But it's funny that she works with these giant eagles, because I can just picture her getting like carried away by
no, I mean, they take monkeys. I mean, they're huge. When I was watching this one at the San Diego Zoo, every time a little kid walked by, the bird was like what's that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was looking at him. He really was.
Yeah, so she gets called anytime somebody finds a harpy eagle nest in Brazil. That is incredible. And her crew goes and rappels ropes up trees to the nest, and they like retrieve the carcasses that are in the nest to look at the diet. Is insane. Wow. So that's my favorite one. That's awesome. In the whole world. All right, what's your favorite bird that's not a bird of prey in the world?
An umbrella cockatoo.
Umbrella is that's like the white?
Yeah, the whole completely white crest.
I,
I would not want one of my own. They're a handful, and a half.
I just saw a video. God, what was it on? Maybe on Reddit or something. But it was this guy, and he was like, it looked like he was in a garage, but he had one of those cockatoos, and he was talking to it, and it was just, it wasn't really saying like words, but the sounds of words, and it was like F bombs. It was like it was cussing something out. It was hilarious.
Sydney. Yeah, my chat knows. There's a bird that an umbrella cockatoo that I work with at the zoo. Her name's Sydney, and I brought her on stream a couple times. She's fantastic. Yeah, the swearing is a problem. We have a bird. We have another. Actually, it's an umbrella cockatoo. We have a couple at the zoo, and one of them, he yells the F word. And
oh my gosh.
Our zoo is all outreach. So we haven't been able to take him out to any events because you never know when he's gonna drop an F-bomb. Yeah. So we're working on that with him, but I'm not sure that we're ever gonna be able to take him out because he's never really gonna let that go. He doesn't know what it means. So
it's so funny working at a zoo that you get those head cases that you just can't take out. At the zoo I worked at, we had a coati that was like a chronic masturbator.
Oh boy.
So we could he had to stay behind the scenes. He couldn't come out in front of everybody.
Coatis are so cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're super cool. I mean, this guy that was his thing. But yeah, there's always like weird animals in the back of zoos that you can't.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't have out in public.
Oh my gosh, we've had that issue with monkeys too. Oh.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what did you, as a zookeeper, what else did you work with? Did you have like because zoos all do differently. Some people have strings, some people have carnivores, how did you do it?
So I was a swing keeper, so I just rotated through everything.
That's awesome. Lucky you. That's the best.
So that's where I got my coolest scar. It's fading, so I'm really sad. And it probably won't even show up on screen, but there's no way you're gonna be able to see that. From a timber wolf.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So our wolves at that zoo were socialized. They were, they kind of came to feel like humans are part of the pack.
Right.
And there's the big hierarchy thing with wolves, alpha wolf and all that. So when and we used that socialization for outreach purposes. So we'd have like wolf talks where we go in with the wolves and feed them and, all that.
Yeah.
But when you were new to doing that part of the job, they would challenge you
for sure,
like another wolf in the pack to see if they were dominant over you.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ways that they did that is they would jump up on their back legs and kind of lean into you and push you. And if you kind of fell backwards or gave in any way,
right,
they would they would take that as that they were dominant over you.
Right.
You couldn't really let them be dominant over you because that was a risk.
It's a wolf, right? Yeah, you don't want that.
Exactly. So we were in there, and this is one of the first times that I was in there with them, and there it was, I don't know if she was the top female of the group, but she was kind of a hard case. She was kind of notorious for giving people a hard time and pushing the limits. And she came up to push on me, and one of the other keepers was like protecting me, and he caught her, and she just swung her head and like snapped to bite at me, and she caught me like right here, like where those veins are on your arm,
No.
And
did you have that rhythmic like oof?
Luckily it wasn't like a real bad like pulsating bleeding thing, but like she nicked me right there, and And I look down and like blood's starting to run down my arm. I'm like, holy crap, I'm kind of new here.
Yeah.
There's kids lined up watching this, and like I'm gonna get eaten by a wolf
Oh my
in front of all these kids. So I like kind of put my arm behind my back and I like tiptoe away.
Yeah,
To the
I
gate.
had a very similar, not me, but I was doing an educational presentation, and we had a Eurasian eagle owl out. I think I've talked about these. It's the largest owl in Mass, but it was a girl too, so really really big, big bird here, chat. This is Eurasian eagle owls, and we had a keeper talking about the owl on her arm, and the bird baited, flew off the glove. And then she went to bring her back on the glove, and she missed when she came up. It wasn't like she footed her, but she missed the glove by a little bit, and got her in the arm, and it was rhythmic. I mean, there was a hole in her arm, and so she did the same thing. She put it behind her arm, and she sidestepped off stage, and I was holding it like with my hand, like trying to get it. I didn't know what to do. Like it was in a library, so it was like 5 to 7 year olds. I mean, it was gnarly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, zoo stories. I love it.
Yeah. So is that your worst animal related injury? That wolf bite?
Probably. Yeah, we had bobcats that were really feisty. And the way the cage was set up, it was really stupid. But you had to go, across the fence thingy that keeps people away. But there was just a little kind of area that you had to kind of sidestep
so they
through.
Could, like, swipe through.
Because they're like reaching through and swiping at you.
Right, yeah.
Luckily, it didn't catch the skin, but I did have one like shred my pants as I was going by. That would have been way worse than the wolf thing for sure.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, they were crazy.
I haven't had many bad bites. I think I got bit by a baby beaver last summer. It hurt really bad. It hurt really bad. I mean, it was cute, but it didn't really break skin. He just left this bruise that spread so much larger than you'd expect for a little baby.
Oh, really?
I mean, the bruise was it was like a like a cookie. I don't know what size this is, but it was like a standard cookie size. I mean, it was a big bruise, just like a. Okay, chat, relax. But yeah, there was that. I mean, I've been kicked in the ribs by a horse. That hurts pretty bad. I get bit every day. I told you that at my job right now with parrots. I mean,
parrots.
All parrots bite. Man, it's terrible.
They're kind of the worst. I'm not gonna lie.
They are. It's terrible. It is. It's a nightmare. Yeah. I mean, as I think I told you this before, is like the birds that we say are the nice ones are the ones that don't break skin every time, but they all bite.
That's a really low bar to set.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. And people that I work with,
it's okay.
Yeah, people that I work with, they don't mind at all. And I'm getting to the point where I mind a lot less, but it does kind of blow. I mean, I don't love getting bit. Also, they're super manipulative about it. They'll put a foot out like they want to step up on your arm, then they'll grab your finger and put it in their mouth.
They're so sneaky.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're too smart for their own good. I think they're all just like mental cases because they've been, in captivity or whatever. Even if you've got as great conditions as you can.
Yeah.
They're just so smart.
They're like monkey smart. I mean.
They are. I
had a macaque pull a chunk of my hair out too. She grabbed my ponytail and just ripped it. I mean, it was in her hand. She was holding like a chunk of my hair, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Pigtail macaque. I'll pull that up too. Yeah. It comes part of the job.
Yeah.
I guess. Let's see where it's a macaque. Pigtail macaque.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. He said, how big of a problem are house cats to bird populations? I love cats, but there's no denying how much damage they do in a lifetime. Also, I love these podcasts. Thank you for saying that. You got a good point there. I saw a Twitter rant about it the other day.
Oh my god. Yeah, house cats are such a problem. Cats are like my favorite domestic animal. I've got cats at home, but to have a cat outside is just absolute disaster for wild animals. Luckily with purple martins, they're not nesting down low enough for a cat to get to it typically.
Mm-hmm.
But for those birds who leave the nest that aren't great flyers yet and end up on the ground or somewhere low, those are cat food.
Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers on what cats do to songbird populations are incredible. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but it's amazing.
I saw, I forget who it was on Twitter, but it was I think she studies crows. I think she just got her PhD or something about crows. And she did this rant about how cats shouldn't be allowed outside at all. Or she was like, it's like an invasive species. I mean, they do the
Bird
only
Twitter strong feelings about the cats. Yeah.
She said the only positive it is to make people feel better about giving their cats more enriched lives. But she said it's really, really bad for wildlife. So.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if that's the only way that you can have a cat, you shouldn't have a cat.
Yeah. That was a good question. Guys, a lot of good questions today. Seriously, thank you so much. Really, really cool. Hi, Emma. Okay, well, I think that takes us through all of our bullets. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? We definitely have to talk about how they can be involved or how they can help.
Yeah.
But anything before that?
No, I think there's lots of stuff we do, but
I'm sorry, you cut out there. I heard there's lots of stuff we do.
There's lots of stuff that we do, but some of it's too boring to talk about to Twitch.
Yeah, I understand.
You gotta just do the exciting stuff.
Yeah.
It's really excited that community was made available. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you so much for talking to me. This has been awesome. Really cool learning for me and for everybody to learn along with me. That was awesome. I can't get over the feather stuff.
Yeah, really cool, right?
So cool. I'm never gonna look at a feather the same way again. I didn't know that there was so much you could do with that. So that's awesome. I wish that I'd studied biology. I'm studying agriculture. Agricultural communications, actually, is my major.
That's when I was in grad school, I did AgCom education classes to get a
your teaching degree.
Yeah. AgCom well.
Yeah, me too. No, it's awesome. It's super, super important. I just am not, I'm not going into the ag industry. But I wish I had studied more biology, stuff like that. I think field biology is so cool. I would love to do something like that someday or get involved with that. But I guess this is how I'm doing it. So.
And you're making as much of a difference now as somebody in the field doing it. So, you're contributing to of the environment through what you're doing.
Dog just tipped $50. Said love the conservation cast. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate hearing that. That means a lot.
Oh, really exciting. I love it. And we have a magazine that we have for our members, so I'll probably write something about you, Maya.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. I would love that. Okay, well, how can the people watching, how can they get involved, like if they want to have a colony, or if that's how you phrase it? Giddy, $33. Thank you so much. And then we hit our $700 goal. Thank you so much, Giddy. That is so cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
So if you're interested in putting up housing, take a look on our website, purplemartin.org. It's basically lays out, as far as this amount of space you need. It's got a map of the range of where purple martins are. So, you can check both of those boxes off. Recommendations on the website and the type of housing that and it's great. We've got recommendations on best ways to attract them to if in doing that, and if the viewership here is may not have property where they can do that sort of thing or whatever.
Right.
Tell other people about this bird species that it won't reproduce without people putting up birdhouses for it. It's the biggest thing you can do. Of course, financially supporting us is huge. You could be a member, of our organization. That's all fantastic. But at its root, it's about the story of these birds that, that started with humans back before European settlement, and now to keep it alive. That's really, once people find out about that, is hurdle that they can do more research to figure out.
Yeah. So the awareness is really, really important.
Share our social media, share our Twitch stream, tell your parents or your neighbor or your local park or nature center that, hey, it'd be cool if you guys had a purple martin colony.
Yeah.
Tool.
Totally. Yeah. And it would be so cool too to have that at a park or something where you can just like check them out and watch them. And
where you're in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different subspecies of purple martins west coast. They don't have kind of the same conservation issues as the ones to the east. Way smaller, like I said. It's the total purple martins in the world, but there's one that's down in the desert southwest that it only nests in saguaro cactuses, like the big that are in like cartoons and movies,
right?
And then kind of mid California and up Vancouver and up into British Columbia, there are purple martins that still use holes because that habitat's still available, and the pressure from those sparrows and starlings is not as high over there. Also, artificial housing, it's not like over here where they're in these big like colonies. It's just like one or two nests in proximity to each other there. So they do exist over on the West Coast. It's just they're a little different.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that. I mean, I can't believe how much I've learned about purple martins today. I can't believe I didn't know what they were before I found your stream. There's so much interesting stuff there. Just like to gauge in chat, like, can you put a 1 if you knew what purple martins were before the stream? Actually, put a 1 if you didn't know. I would rather see that. Okay, now I'm getting a lot of 1s. Okay. Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, I'm not sure how many viewers we've averaged today, but I think a lot of people have learned.
That's what it's all about. That's what I was hoping to get out of this is, people to say they didn't know about purple martins when they turned on the stream, and now they've at least got a little bit of knowledge about the conservation issues and how they might be able to help.
Yeah. Well, I think I think we've accomplished that. I think that's awesome. Well, cool. I'll host your channel here, so you guys can see the
awesome
purple martin nest cam.
Yeah, they're sleeping right
today,
now.
27 years old. Ooh, 27 days old, not years. Sorry. Yeah. So I guess if you guys keep an eye on these cams, we'll see them fledge soon.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. It's a pretty good chance that you might have a fledge or two. That right now you got the 7 babies sleeping on the ground, and then the mother, the female, is sitting on the porch with her head out the door. So that's where she's been sleeping. The male hasn't been sleeping in the nest since the eggs were laid. Nearby treat.
So cool. All right. Well, hopefully there are people that'll tune into that and look forward to that.
Yeah, tune in and see if you can see the big moment where they finally courage to jump out of the nest.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. thank you so much for your time
you.
here and for talking
This
to me.
is awesome. I love what you're doing.
Thank
I'll definitely be tuning in. I did that you were able to.
You cut out at the end there, but I think I got the gist.
I was saying really nice things.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I like all this stuff is so cool to learn about. And I think we have a good thing going here, chat. Thank you for being so nice. Everybody say thank you, Joe. Smile. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you soon. I hope, but
my return my return stream on the Conservation Cast maybe is from Brazil.
That would be fantastic. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely.
So we ended today at $703, and that's
thank you guys.
So that's directly to PMCA. So guys, thank you so much for doing that. I really, really appreciate that.
Generous, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it means a lot to me, and I think that means a lot to them too. So thank you. And again, command PMCA in the chat. I'm going to host them after this, but
thank you.
There you go. Okay, thank you so much, Joe. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, chat.
All right, have a good rest of your day.